Season 9 continues on with yet another solid episode. You know, despite the early preview showcasing another moment where Rick and Morty are seemingly done with each other, I was cautiously optimistic on what this episode was going to showcase. Thankfully, the show delivered once again. This is a breakdown and review of Season 9, Episode 8 of Rick and Morty, Requiem More to Dream. We begin with Rick stirring on his bed, and we can spot a few things. For one, we see this Japanese drink, which I'm not even going to try and pronounce, but it translates to the power of turmeric. This is actually a real-life drink that is consumed to alleviate hangovers, so of course Rick downs it in the next shot. We also get to see the book Being in Time, written by Martin Heidegger. This is considered as one of the most influential philosophy books ever written. The central argument Heidegger proposes is that people often lose themselves in everyday distractions, avoiding the reality of their mortality. By confronting death as an unavoidable part of our existence, we can begin to live more authentically. It's surprising to see Rick reading this. It could indicate a small moment of growth for him. He's on the path of trying to find meaning after essentially losing the one thing that gave him purpose. Having these two things in the same shot, though, emphasizes that he's in the midst of that process. Oh yeah, we also see pictures of Abradolf Linkler, Mr. Meeseeks, a Cronenberg from the Cronenberg dimension, Dr. Xenon Bloom from Anatomy Park, and an alien from M. Night Shyamalan's. Now, I'm pretty sure he's always had these on the wall, but I wanted to mention it since it's front and center here. All of these were characters back in Season 1. I wonder why he hasn't torn them down yet. Rick starts off his day, and he seems like he's in a genuinely serene mood. He goes down to his lab, putting a do not disturb sign over the door, and begins working on his distillery. Before that, though, I wanted to pause at this brief moment. He opens his digital newspaper called The Glorpalist, probably a play on The Globalist, and what it looks like is that he's manipulating different governments all over the galaxy. Fitting that he fortifies anarchy and overthrows oligarchy. Technically, the Citadel of Rick's was an oligarchy, just more of Rick loving to fuck with people for no reason. As he gets in the zone, Morty enters and accidentally destroys his entire distillery. What I love is the scolding he gives him.
Because this was the most important thing to me today. So, what did you come down here for? I was wondering if you could try me to pick up some Pokemon cards?
Of course it was. I actually never got into Pokemon card collecting. Can someone down below explain to me the appeal? Oh, while you're there, leave a like and subscribe if you're new around here. Apparently 90% of you who watch these breakdowns are not subscribed. Really quick, I wanted to say a huge thank you for those who have joined the community and for tuning in every week. It genuinely means a lot, and I feel I don't say thank you enough. So again, from the deepest part of my heart, thank you. As I always say, weekly breakdowns are coming as the season wraps up, and I mainly do big character analysis videos. Subscribe so you don't miss out. Rick then tells Morty that he's basically never happy when he's around. This is 100% a lie, especially after what he says next.
Then why hang out with me? I don't know. When I found you, you were bait. When I killed that fish, maybe I should have cut the line.
He's of course referencing the season 6 premiere when Morty asked him if he was bait to lure Rick Prime out. I love that Rick actually reaches out briefly and gets frustrated at what he said. Shows that he really didn't mean any of it and he was just annoyed. He sends Summer and Jerry to get stuff for his distillery and finds that one of the more important ingredients, this rare Grimaldian potato, is in the far corner of the galaxy. So he goes to Morty to bring him along, but he refuses. That's when he injects a sympathid into him. This bug generates unlimited empathy within its host, meaning that now Morty won't ever hear or experience Rick screaming at him again, at least while the bug is in him.
A piece of shit! Work, Morty, like a golden retriever, a Rick's best friend.
Oh yeah, what did Skip say?
No good can come of this.
Because at first, it seemed to me like this means Morty's basically going to be living in a fantasy world. His mind is completely warped, and we'll soon see just how much of a problem this is going to cause. Anyway, Rick takes him to train in this dance competition, and I can't express to you how much of a double take I took when I heard this.
And now, performing Claire de Lune, epic remix from the Godzilla King of the Monsters trailer.
Such a specific and niche reference. Say what you will about the movie, but anyone who's seen that trailer knows that it just might be one of the most jaw-dropping and beautiful trailers ever created. Anyways, they end up winning the potato, and upon returning home, Rick takes the sympathid out of him, and Morty realizes that everything he just experienced with Rick, the trust and connection during the dance, was all bullshit. As well as that, there's a major side effect to having that thing. Morty starts to feel like absolute shit, because temporarily all of his empathy is gone. Now, I'm not going to touch on the Jerry and Summer plot all that much. It was just wild, and as seems to be the theme with Jerry's plots this season, super weird. Gotta respect that Jerry doesn't fold or get scared when being invited to the serial killer's house though. Probably because he apparently has serial killer antics too. Now the next day when Morty's about to go to school, oh shit, he still goes to school? He spots the sympathid on Rick's table with no safeguards or anything. So either Rick's an idiot or he might have done this on purpose. I'll get back to this later. He puts it in and goes empathy crazy at school. After that, he goes back to Rick and says,
"Hey Rick, I've been thinking about our boundaries and you're right. I shouldn't just walk in and expect access to your time and attention."
Ironic because he just did that. But he also says that he wants to bring their trust back to what it used to be. So they go to Asteroid Plaza and Rick says he wants this thermometer. Ah, look at this cute little bastard. But that's when Rick says,
"Morty, your arm."
My arm?
Yeah, buddy, your arm.
What's up with my arm?
And in his wholesome grandpa attitude, asks if Morty has the sympathid in him. And then we get one of the coolest animation sequences this season.
Kill you.
I love that his empathy brain and reality collide in these quick flashes. It reminds me a lot of those scenes when Mark is reintegrating in Severance. Rick eventually takes out the bug, which is now fucking huge. He reveals that Morty sympathized with an explosion, referring to the happy little son bastard, and ended up getting his arm taken off. It's crazy that the empathy bug completely negated his pain. We then get this important exchange.
Oh, fuck off!
Fuck off!
Yeah, Rick! Oh, you ruined my morning! Get over yourself, you dumb dead wife having bitch!
I love that despite getting chewed out, Rick still chooses to stitch Morty's arm together midway. After hearing that insane line, Rick realizes that Morty's now completely devoid of empathy, which leads him to do this insane shit. Just look at the way he's standing too. This is exactly how evil Morty stands. That's when the bug gets the jump on them and manages to burrow its way into Rick's brain. What I love is that now, Rick and Morty have effectively swapped places, with Morty having to be the one to save Rick. So while he becomes an empathetic mess, Morty ironically finally empathizes with him.
I get it, Rick! I get how frustrating it is to try to get things done while your sidekick shits the emotional bed!
I love the way Rick slides through here, so unserious. As he tries to escape, he gets a call from Summer saying that Jerry needs help from the serial killer, only for Morty to say,
We can get another dad! What?
This is referencing Morty Night Run when they accidentally took the wrong Jerry home. Also, another Rick line if I've ever heard one. To go along with him acting like Rick and evil Morty now, he escapes through a portal and deploys this black hole device, sucking everything up like it was nothing. It's amazing that Morty's the one who's able to empathize with the serial killer in Jerry's plot, because at that point, neither of them had any. And the guy gets blown to smithereens. The final scene is the most important. Morty asks Rick if he always feels so cut off like this, and he answers yes. But also, he tells Morty that he should stop trying to empathize with him because his flaws, his toxic behaviors are only gonna harm Morty. After all, empathy is all about looking past someone's worst qualities and trying to find what's really bothering them underneath. In Rick's case though, Morty is physically incapable of doing that no matter how hard he tries, and it would be best to just accept him for what he is.
Are you saying you're a piece of shit?
Yeah.
What's sad is that Rick ends up dropping in some Pokemon cards for Morty, only for him to say,
I wish I could enjoy this.
the last thing we see is a sympathid coming out of Rick's head, but it's dead now, only for him to say,
No hard feelings.
this implies that it died of starvation, because Rick naturally has very little empathy already. Now, like I hinted before, I wonder if Rick purposely left the sympathid out for Morty to take. Maybe he thought the only way to get Morty to stop bothering him, like Dan when he was in the distillery, was to temporarily make him an asshole. I'm also pretty sure Morty's lack of empathy is only temporary. The show would have made it a much bigger deal if this was meant to be some crazy transformation, but I could totally see Rick choosing the dramatic solution over the healthy one. That said, one line might debunk this theory.
Maybe I leaned a little hard on the shortcut when I could have just talked to you.
If he intentionally planned for Morty to take the sympathid, why would he say that? I don't know, let me know what you guys think down below. Now, I think what the episode is trying to say is that empathy is inherently a good quality to have, but it can't solve everything. Some people are impossible to please, impossible to help, and maybe even impossible to fully understand, like the serial killer, and honestly, Rick. You can recognize the pain underneath someone's behavior without excusing the harm they cause. Sometimes the healthiest thing you can do is to stop trying to save them. An incredibly bleak theme, perfect for this show. Overall, another banger episode that thankfully keeps season 9 as one of the most consistently great seasons of Rick and Morty in recent years. If you're new around here, subscribe and leave a like if you enjoyed. Thank you all again for the continued support. As always, weekly breakdowns are coming until the season wraps up. If you want to support me further, please follow all my socials, join my Patreon, and consider grabbing my book, The Shattered Absolution, heavily inspired by the shows I cover, and I want to thank you once again for watching.